Welcome to KAIZENTalk, where we explore the transformative power of Kaizen in businesses worldwide. In each episode, we connect with experts and practitioners passionate about driving continuous improvement to achieve extraordinary results across industries. Hello, everyone. You're back with another episode of KAIZENTalk. I'm your host, Ferry, the Managing Director of Kaizen Institute Singapore. I'm excited to explore some remarkable transformation stories with you today. Today, we are diving into the world of manufacturing and engineering, a space where operational efficiencies, quality, innovation need to come together like clockwork. To help us unpack this topic, I'm thrilled to welcome a leader with over 2 decades of experience in driving transformation, Santosh Gaikwad, Vice President of SES and LEAN at Sulzer Pumps India. Santosh is a certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt and a Lean Master. He spent close to 21 years leading operational excellence, productivity improvement, and cost reduction initiative across global organizations, including Honeywell, XPX Flow, and now Sulzer. His passion for building high-performing teams and embedding a culture of continuous improvement is truly inspiring. Santosh, a very warm welcome to KAIZENTalk.
Thank you very much, Ferry. Thank you for this warm welcome.
Santosh, let's start with your personal story. You have spent 2 decades across industries leading change. What first sparked your passion for operational excellence and continuous improvement?
It goes back to my early days in my career, Ferry. And when I started, I never thought that I will spend 2 decades in this area. But trust me, the overall journey was so mesmerizing and eventful for me to give all rich experiences of mine. It all started with my first job with one of the organization where I was working as a maintenance supervisor, and my responsibility then was to in the tool room for that organization. And as a part of that organization's philosophy, they introduced us to the principles of TPM, total productive maintenance. Then 5 years I was absolutely new to the world of industries. I was just the fresh graduate out of an engineering graduate school, and I got introduced to some of these things which were really made me going beyond what got told to me during those few sessions. I eventually decided to pursue few more training courses. I actually eventually went with the post graduation studies, having this kind of specialization, helping me understanding more of these concepts in deep. And every organization ever since then helped me learning more, contributing more to the organization's success as well as my own career growth.
Thank you. At Sulzer Pumps India, you are leading the SES and Lean agenda. For our listeners who may not be familiar, could you give a glimpse into what operational excellence looks like at Sulzer? How do you actually ensure it's not just a program, but part of how people work every day?
Before that, a very quick overview of Sulzer as an organization. Ferry, Sulzer are the one of the reputed brand in fluid engineering. They do manufacture, service the products and solutions in industrial area of mixers, agitators, and lot many other equipments through that value chain spectrum. Sulzer globally operates across 150 locations and having 13,000 plus employees into various of their different business units, service, engineering, all put together. And now, this is something which interesting for us. So operational excellence at Sulzer. Sulzer currently driving their long-term vision, which we call Sulzer 28, and it has two key business aspects attached to these strategy. One is growth, and another is the excellence. So now you can understand the importance being given by Sulzer leadership up for driving this excellence mindset across organization. So what we believe at Sulzer is excellence across the value chain vary. So it's not only remaining the focus area for a few factory operations or something which we carry out in pockets in various different functional work stream. We believe and we are working towards developing this how it is becoming the intrinsic part of employees daily routine, and that's the philosophy currently we are working at Sulzer.
Thank you, Santosh. I saw one of your recent posts, right, where you spoke about excellence in execution
Yeah.
and the importance of organizational rhythm. Could you elaborate how do you practically create the rhythm within an organization to drive consistent results?
That's quite interesting. Whenever we, as an individual, people manager, or business leader, whenever we come across a problem, a natural tendency of many of us to put all resources, time, energy behind getting that problem solved. In principle, it doesn't seem anything wrong about this. But if you start seeing in a holistic aspect, you will understand that people possibly may be missing the broader view about the problems. They may not necessarily having the right level of skill resources available with them at that particular time. And though intentions of every individual getting involved into that kind of approach of problem solving, not questionable, it's okay to that sense, but it will not be giving the maximum business impact to the organization. It will be overwhelming in a way, and it will not be every time productive. In fact, sometimes it tend to be counterproductive because you develop the reactive problem solving behaviors in general sense. So what I will recommend probably for everyone, interesting how we can deal with this to really develop the structured problem solving approach, develop the operating routine, cadence, and the governance model around that, so that a particular set of problems are being addressed by certain team at the certain level of accountability, and only the problems which are not being able to solve, those are eventually getting escalated further. In a way, you achieve couple of interesting things, Ferry. The first one is you are developing the right mindset of people in terms of ownership, accountability, and solving the problem there in there itself, rather than for everything those things are getting escalated, circulated across the boundary. And the second thing is, as a business leader, you want to develop the muscle, you want to develop the brain within organization, so that you can lean back and enjoy the orchestra while your people are performing the task for you. And that's very important in a way to achieve the efficient operating performance for an organization.
So listening to what you share, it is similar to like an athlete, right? That is practicing for Olympic. They
Yeah.
have to constantly practice their routine or their move so that it becomes a muscle memory. When the time to perform, it is just second nature rather than they still have to think through what to do, which in a business environment, things change rapidly. So if the team is have this ability to, problem solve quickly, it will be a huge asset for any company. Well said, Santosh. Let's move on to the next question. I mean, people will say it's easy to say, Santosh, we also know all these, but change is never easy, right? So what are some of the common hurdles you face when driving lean and operation excellence across large teams or complex operations? How do you overcome them?
We have grown very listening to one phrase, and that's constant is the only thing which is permanent, which is the change, isn't it? What believe is nowadays that change or pace of change is ever increasing. So the biggest hurdle in any transformation is our ability to comprehend, understand what are those various changes happening over the business landscape in various aspect, Ferry. So it could be a technological advancements, those could be economic, macro, micro, it could be geopolitical things, though there could be situation where you need to keep evolving your strategies to remain relevant and most importantly remain ahead of the curve of your competition. And in order to get these things achieved in today's world, change management or cultural transformation is actually more and more important.
Mm,
You really can't take eye off of these particular things, because if you are not doing, someone else will definitely do, and they will do ahead of yours. So the biggest change is getting all those variables well understood, putting those in your strategy roadmap, so that your change will be at right pace and at the same time directionally well oriented.
Could you also share an example of a transformation project, either in Sulzer or from your time in your previous companies, right? Where continuous improvement make a real measurable impact. Maybe a story that sticks with you.
There are certainly a couple of stories I still cherish whenever those come to my memory as a fresh. But one thing definitely I would like to share, and that's about when we were discussing in my earlier organization, SPX Flow, where how we can uh, get the lost market share for a configured to order CTO pump range, where we were experiencing stiff competition in terms of critical three parameters. First one was market expected lead time, the cost, and the third one was our ability to adapt to the small customization or the configurations. We took that as a part of our challenge, and the methodology we adapted was again an end-to-end value stream, where we understood what were those challenges we were facing, get every stakeholder together from our engineering to sales tendering and going with your manufacturing operations. We made some changes in our planning template to have our planning process is able to incorporate the late point differentiators in your product variants, so you can have certain level of semi finished products ready, Ferry, and that actually helping to build much larger portion of your operation equal to the standard product manufacturing. And then you do have certain variations to be incorporated in your manufacturing assembly process. Enabling that helped us in optimizing our lead time, inventory levels, and obviously the cost competitiveness were the deliverables of that. It overall helped us in going back to where we were a few years back in terms of market share. We got the very positive feedback from our customers. To large extent, our customer in this case were the distributors, but overall it was the winning strategy turned out to be for us.
Wow, sounds like definitely something for the audience to take away, right? How do you actually deal with all these challenges? Maybe move on to the next question. With Industry 4.0, AI, and digital technologies reshaping manufacturing, how do you see continuous improvement evolving? How do you balance between the human element and the technology in driving efficiency? What's your view on that?
I believe very AI, Industry 4.0, digital technologies, all these things are today's new toolkit enablers for business leaders to drive the process simplification, automation, and improvements to large extent, where you can actually eliminate the human unintended errors into the operations, whether it is the engineering process or your procurement activities, your planning processes, or your manufacturing operations, or the logistic activities happening in your warehouses. You can deploy some of these processes to really make these operations more efficient. I definitely add one aspect to this is AI. A business leader should think as a tool where we can make our processes more intelligent, so that as a business leader we do have more real time accurate data variables to take the data driven decisions.
I do agree with you that AI definitely is the game changer, something that no doubt any company they have to invest in Industry 4.0 AI. Nevertheless, maybe what I observe is a challenge, which is lately I also met up with operations, one of the operations leader, talking about implementing manufacturing excellence, Kaizen, and all that. So he shared with me that one of the challenge that he faced, his C level or at the owner level, right? People are still like they still prefer to invest in buying asset, because asset you can see it, you can touch it, right?
Yeah.
But investing in something like operational excellence, continuous improvement, which is like training the team to build up the capability to drive performance, is still difficult to convince. So what is your take? How do you convince your stakeholders in doing this?
This is brilliant follow-up question, Ferry, and I probably will use again a very simple lean principle here. We should not automate process which in principle is the non-value added activity or not adding any value. And then I probably will try to answer this question. Usually many organizations are facing this dilemma of whether they should invest in particular technology. The reason for that particular feeling usually is they are not fully convinced whether this investment will give certain level of return, and that return can be productivity, safety, growth, and things like that. If a lean analysis is deployed before such investment decisions, and where we are very much certain about whatever we are going to do is going to help in improving one of these business KPIs, I'm sure we can always get the buy-in from the leaders and the people who are going to make the call in terms of investment going to happen or no.
So, in your words, or at least from what I understand from what you share, is making sure that before you invest in anything, make sure that it's a clear return on investment of the investment, right? So that you
Yeah.
can easily convince the business leaders. Agree on that point. Let's move on to the next one. You have consistently emphasized building a safe, inclusive, high-performing team. In your experience, how critical is leadership mindset and culture in sustaining operational excellence?
Very short and brief and a candid answer is it's very much critical. But we all know very almost every other leader, consultants, they will say the same thing. Let's understand what exactly driving this understanding or thinking. Who are the leaders? I mean, in lean we all know every employee is getting accountable owner for their own work areas. So whether it is the TPM as a philosophy or value stream owning activities, or whether it's the 5S as a culture, we encourage every individual to own certain part of their activities, and more importantly, they are authorized to take decision in their given circle of control, circle of influence. Now, the moment we redefine or clarify this definition of leadership, I believe then whether it is the employee, individual contributor, supervisor, team leader, manager, or the business leaders, every individual mindset is super critical in driving the mindset. And how that is possible is usually by giving one common goal to everyone, so that they understand what they are doing and what is the purpose of their every daily routine activities. So for example, I really like the story one of my earlier manager mentioned to me, Ferry. If you ask to even a janitor, and if he or she gives you response that what they are doing and why they are doing, and if answer of his or her is they are making place hygienic, safe, clean, so that the engineers here can build great pumps for the solutions which are required in the market. So it is no more now a genital activities ferry. Everyone is connected with the broader organizational objective. This particular story, I heard it inspiring me even today. And on this line of thought, I keep working with the teams wherever I'm dealing today. And for this, the a vehicle or philosophy of value stream transformation, where you can connect every functional work stream operations. You make people understand what are the current level of performance, whether it is acceptable, know what are the level of gaps, and how we all should work together achieving that one single goal, which will help our customer, giving more confidence from our organization perspective. And that's the philosophy I always work in terms of developing the leadership philosophy in an organization.
Well, as the saying goes, right, a beautiful story sticks with everyone.
Yeah.
So that's a story that sticks with you. So let's move on to the next one. Maybe listeners, right? I believe most of them whom are young professional or managers, what advice would you give them to someone looking to champion Lean, Six Sigma, or Kaizen, or operational excellence within their organization? Given that you have your vast experience.
I'm not sure. I'm so mature to really give advice, but I can definitely share my piece of learning here, Ferry. And that is as simple as this: do not afraid from experimenting. Lean, Six Sigma, or operational excellence. It's a continual incremental improvement journey, and it's inevitable that we will fail. But what is the key here is fail safe, fail sooner, fail early, so that you can correct the things before those are becoming more as the standards for the organization, so that you can get the things corrected. Once those are corrected, then you can keep using that experience, learning, building your own confidence, building extended teams confidence within this process, and then overall transformation, overall improvement for the organization continues very.
Experimenting, right? So the
Yeah,
key thing is experimenting and also fail easy, fail quickly, and then rebounding. Wow, I can empathize with the what you're sharing. I recently also heard a lot about as leaders, right? We have to a lot of times we want to chase after results, right? We want things to be in good condition, moving in the right direction. But at certain point in time, if we don't tolerate a bit of failure because the team experiment it, then create a culture of conformance to the point where there's no innovation and nobody would want to innovate.
yeah,
And that is actually against the principle of Kaizen, where we constantly want to improve, right?
yeah.
So how do you distinguish between a good failure and maybe a failure that we should avoid?
Yeah. Um, I guess we can have a very easy to understand definition for this. Very, if we were almost certain about the outcome, and we never thought of the unfavorable outcome, I believe that's uncertain. That means you were confident or overconfident. You never consider that as a part of your decision making process. That failure probably is something we should avoid. What I'm saying is, if at all you want to fail early and keep experimenting, where you actually take every possible outcome and the variable into account, so that you will be to large extent ready even for that possible outcome as well. And you just want to see that whether this particular decision, this particular design, this particular process change, this particular improvement is going to work or no. But you are ready, you are anticipating a possible unfavorable outcome, so that you are better prepared to deal with that. And that probably something we should never hesitate doing this.
Okay, thank you. Um, well, I could do this for a very long period, but in the interest of your time, thank you, Santosh, very much for sharing valuable insights and experience with us today. It's been fascinating conversation, and I'm sure our listeners has gained plenty of practical ideas and inspiration to take back to their own organizations. And to our audience, thank you for tuning to Kaizen Talk. I hope that you enjoy this episode and will continue to explore how Kaizen can help transform industries and organizations worldwide with everyone, everywhere, every day. See you next time. Bye bye.